Hello, this is Bruce Colbert coming to you from the BPT Partners Seminar here in Social CRM, and I'm broadcasting live from SAP's office here in Silicon Valley, in their executive education facility. And I have with me Vinay Iyer, who is the Vice President of CRM Solutions Marketing for SAP. Hi Vinay, how you doing?
Hi Bruce, thank you.
I understand that you just wrote a new book, and it's called The Customer Experience Edge. So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited. It's taken us about a little over a year to get to this point where the book is going to be published at the end of the month. So the Customer Experience Edge, as the book is called, titled, really came out of an experience we had with our customers, which was basically saying, hey, we have to all be customer-centric. That is a board mandate, that's the CEO mandate. But the question is, what is the customer centricity? Is it just the focus of sales, service, and marketing and having a unified view of the customer? Or do we really look at every point at which we interact with the customer and make sure that whether it's our accounting department or the manufacturing shipment department, whoever interacts with the customer ensures that they deliver a certain level of service that we commit as a brand, as a company, to our customers? So that realization kind of gave us some pointers that customer experience is beyond CRM. CRM is definitely important, but it's really beyond CRM. It's everything a company does and has to do. And the second question was, when you look at companies like Zappos that really go out of the way to do whatever it takes to satisfy every single customer, the question is, can every company be that way? Can every company treat every customer in the same way, in a superior way? I don't know the answer. It's for companies to decide. But the question is, if you have to do that, can you do it profitably? Right. That was a big question. So one of the uncoverings was also that, hey, now how do you, to do things scalably, consistently, and profitably, maybe the element of technology can help in making this more scalable and more sustainable. So
you're hosting this social CRM seminar here, and that's really fantastic. And we got a full audience here, and the topic is social. How do you see that affecting the customer experience?
So it's been a great conference so far, so hats off to you and all the other organizers for pulling this conference together, the workshop. What's becoming clear is social is an important channel without a doubt, but what's also being discussed in the workshop is that social is not just the channel, it's one of the channels along with every other channel that companies do business with. But there are some dynamics introduced by social, which is, well, a message about the company spreads faster, more globally, faster than ever before. There are new ways where customers are hanging out, and how do you help engage with the customer where they're hanging out versus forcing them to do business only in certain ways, right? So now this has different implications for companies, especially for me as a marketer. My life has changed. I don't do marketing the way I did before. I cannot afford to do marketing the old-fashioned way. I have to be on top every single day of my life and do something that's meaningful to the customer every single day. So lives have changed for a lot of participants in the social world, and I think that's what is exciting. How do we all collectively figure this out? What do we learn from each other? And how do we ultimately make social part of the overall customer experience?
Well, you brought up something that's pretty interesting. Your life has changed, and as an SAP executive leading some of the business strategies in this space, how has your life changed? And then how do you interpret that into business strategies, right, that can help your company?
No, it's so true. My life has changed because even 3 or 4 years ago, when I did a product release, we would have this annual product release. So we kind of spent a bunch of time preparing for the release, creating collateral, demos, training the field. And then kind of, there was a slow period, and then we started off the next cycle, the next year, and so forth. But today, if you look at what my team does and what I do, every single day we are on Twitter, we are on social media communities, we are listening to what customers are saying about product solutions, trends, and then figuring out, well, what can I say in this environment today that is relevant to customers because they want to know about me and my SAP's point of view on a daily basis, right? So the market is now forced to deliver more topical content every single day and not just once a year and go back. Also listen to the discussions that are going on every single day in different communities. and ultimately bring all these conversations together in some meaningful way, so I can influence a new product direction, I can influence a new investment, or I can find better ways of engaging the audience.
So you are actually using social CRM and social media to help you formulate your ideas for business strategies?
Absolutely. I mean, we have the idea place where we get ideas. We look at what analysts and influencers like yourselves are saying, so to triangulate and say, well, if you have a fixed bucket of money to make an investment, which we all do,
sure.
What is the best opinion around what topic and where do we put the money, right? So.
Well, you guys are an innovative company. You stay ahead of the industry. What is SAP doing in this space?
SAP is doing some remarkable things, especially in the recent 2 to 3 years in particular, because we acquired 2 companies, Sybase, which brought a lot of technology around mobility and futuristic databases, and then we acquired business analytics vendor Business Objects, right? So now we are combining the mobility, so we're kind of making SAP accessible even more through smartphones and iPads and devices like that. Because one of the historical challenges with enterprise software is adoption has been poor. Right now, by making everything available on your smartphone, you don't have to log into some system and take care of that. You can be wherever and get access to it. So mobility is rapidly expanding the reach of enterprise software to millions and millions more users than ever before. Analytics are giving more insight in more creative ways than ever before. And then the element of social, how do we leverage communities and networks and to get the word out and to build this consensus and collaboration and evangelism of our solutions and products. And the other topic is the cloud space. How do we deploy a lot more of SAP in cloud so people don't have to make those massive investments they've made in the past to have in-house hardware, software, armies of people and so forth.
Well, one of the things that you said yesterday, and you had spoke to the group, which was great, and thank you for the time yesterday. Sure. And you said connecting kind of the social information and social identities to your operational and transactional systems. Just tell me a little more about that and what you're doing in that area.
Yeah, so just for context, right, I mean the traditional CRM systems or ERP systems are very database driven. You have a record, you have a field, you have a type of field, and you capture a particular kind of information. So for example, in a zip code field, you can only have numbers, you cannot enter characters, right, or alphabetical characters. So it's very structured information, so we call it structured systems. Whereas in social media, everything is unstructured. I mean, I have a thought, I just openly express it. Especially in today's world of Twitter, you have the Twitter-ish, which is some other version of English.
Twitch-ish, right?
Twitch-ish, whatever you call it. And so the sudden challenge is, how do you make sense out of this vast volumes of unstructured content and conversations and bring it in some structured way so that if I were a marketing manager or a service manager at a particular company looking at the social media world, I can tie that back into some transactional decision, because if it's a customer complaint about a product, I can ultimately create an activity to the relevant service agent who can then call this customer complaining. So you have to marry the transactional system with the unstructured system, and that's the challenge. And so I don't think we have the perfect solution, but we have some experimental solution like what I showed before, where we can do some smart things about measuring the sentiment, identifying the sentiment against the customer, and then marrying the customer to the customer record in CRM and closing the loop.
Well, I really think those are the right things to be working on, and I thank you for sharing. Well, no, I see a lot of this, and I thank you for sharing that with us yesterday, because that's clearly important in bringing that social data to the operational data, and then be able to render that as useful information to the business.
I mean, as was discussed today too, right? I mean, if customers are expecting something in the world of social where you respond for a Twitter feed within 30 minutes, I mean, when they call the call center, they expect their problem to be solved in 30 minutes too, right? I mean, the expectations are going up.
Sure.
So we have to be smarter about how we bring everything together.
Well, Vinay, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and really appreciate your perspective. Thanks again.
Thanks very much.